Okay, the World Cup has a serious Sweden problem. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. Alexander Isak, the most expensive player in Premier League history, and for many people, the best striker in English football right now. Viktor Gyökeres, the Swedish striker who has made more noise than almost anyone in Europe over the last few years.
What I would say about Viktor Gyökeres, you provide him with service and usually he gets on the end of it. He may score, he may not, but he is active inside the 18-yard box. And what we see so often, or we've seen so often from Arsenal, is that they'll play around Gyökeres, but never with him in mind in providing service. So that's why having a guy like Bukayo Saka playing at this sort of level, taking players down in 1v1 situation, of course it helps that it's Raúl Jimenez, that is 1,000 years old, and who knows why he was in that sort of position. But regardless, I digress. Let's give credit to Bukayo Saka and the quality of his service, and let's give credit to Gyökeres, who doesn't often get credit, but should get credit not only from the finishing, but the movement.
The man has won the league in each of the last 3 seasons, and since he exploded as a goal machine, he has been almost impossible to stop. 97 goals in 102 games for Sporting.
Yeah, because this is the player that they have wanted and that could give them the final piece for that Premier League trophy.
Impressive? Mate, that was only the beginning. Because in his first season at Arsenal, Gyökeres scored 21 goals. 21 goals that helped the Gunners become Premier League champions after 22 long years. And if anyone still wants to question how important he is, remember this. Victor was the man who carried Sweden through the playoffs, scoring the goals that sent them to the World Cup. So now Sweden arrive in 2026 with Isak and Gyökeres. 2 strikers who could become one of the deadliest duos in the entire tournament. But here's the scary part. They are not coming alone. Daniel Svensson has been more than impressive at Borussia Dortmund. Gudmundsson is another Premier League level talent. Holm has been unlucky with injuries, but when he's on the pitch, he has looked very strong for Juventus. Elanga has been one of Newcastle's best players, and Barcelona already know exactly how dangerous he can be. Then there's Yacine Ayari, a midfielder with goals in him, and Benjamin Nygren, runner-up in the Scottish Premiership scoring charts, so don't get fooled by the fact Sweden qualified as the last team in their group without winning a single match, because their stars are arriving at the World Cup in the best form possible. And when a team has this much firepower, this much hunger, and 2 strikers who only need one chance to destroy you, Sweden are not just happy to be there, they are coming to cause problems. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. To understand Sweden's present, we need to look at their football history, mate, because it is much richer than people think. Sweden's international story started in 1908, making them one of Europe's most traditional national teams. Even before the World Cup existed, they had already shown their level by winning bronze at the Paris 1924 Olympic Games. And while their recent World Cup appearances have been more irregular, history says one thing clearly. When Sweden qualify, you have to take them seriously. Their first World Cup came in Italy 1934. After skipping Uruguay 1930, like many European nations, their first ever World Cup match was against Argentina. They went behind after a goal from Ernesto Bellis, but came back to win 3-2 and reached the quarter-finals. There, Germany beat them 2-1, ending their run. Then came France 1938, where Sweden reached the semi-finals. They qualified behind Germany in Europe, skipped the round of 16 because Austria couldn't participate after being annexed by Nazi Germany, and then destroyed Cuba 8-0 in the quarter-finals, their biggest World Cup win ever. But against Hungary, despite scoring in the first minute through Arne Nyberg, they collapsed and lost 5-1. In the third place match, they led Brazil by 2 goals, but still lost 4-2 to a side led by Leonidas. Sweden finished 4th. In Brazil 1950, Sweden qualified again and arrived with real prestige after winning Olympic gold in London 1948. They opened the tournament by beating defending champions Italy 3-2, ending Italy's unbeaten World Cup record. Then they drew 2-2 with Paraguay, which was enough to finish top of the group and reach the final round. But the final round was brutal. Brazil smashed Sweden 7-1, still their worst ever World Cup defeat. Then Uruguay beat them 3-2 after Sweden had been leading. Still, they finished strongly by beating Spain 3-1, securing 3rd place, their best World Cup finish at that time. The 1954 World Cup was the first time Sweden failed to qualify, mate. A shock defeat in Stockholm against Belgium ended their hopes, but 4 years later, they returned automatically as host of the 1958 World Cup. And Sweden did not waste that chance. They topped their group after beating Mexico 3-0, defeating Hungary 2-1, and drawing 0-0 with Wales once qualification was already secured. In the quarter-finals, they faced the Soviet Union with the legendary Lev Yashin in goal, but Sweden won 2-0 and reached the semi-finals again. Then came their biggest moment. Against reigning champions West Germany, Sweden went behind, fought back, won 3-1, and reached their first ever World Cup final. For a few minutes the dream felt real. Captain Niels Lidholm scored after just 4 minutes, with a brilliant low finish after beating 2 defenders. Sweden were ahead in a World Cup final, but then Brazil woke up. Vavá scored twice before half-time, Pelé scored 2 more, and Zagallo added another. Brazil won 5-2 and became world champions. Sweden had touched the sky, but they couldn't stop Pelé, and sadly, they would never reach that height again in a World Cup. After the magic of 1958, Sweden waited 12 years to return to the World Cup. They came back in Mexico 1970, but for the first time, they went home without surviving the group stage. Then came West Germany, 1974. With a stronger Sweden, they started with a dull 0-0 against Bulgaria, then earned another 0-0 against Johan Cruyff's Netherlands, the famous Clockwork Orange, that would reach the final. Everything came down to Uruguay, and Sweden won 3-0, qualifying among the best 8 without conceding a single goal. But the next round was brutal. Poland beat them 1-0 with a goal from Grzegorz Lato, the tournament's top scorer. Then Sweden took the lead against hosts West Germany, but the future champions came back to win 4-2. Already eliminated, Sweden still finished with pride by beating Yugoslavia 2-1. In Argentina 1978, Sweden completed a strong cycle by reaching a 3rd straight World Cup, but the joy didn't last. They were eliminated in the group stage. After that, they waited another 12 years to return in Italy, 1990. And it was a disaster. Sweden lost to Brazil, Scotland and Costa Rica, going out again in the group stage. But after that failure came one of the greatest Swedish campaigns ever, USA, 1994. That team was built on a strong defensive block and dangerous attackers like Kenneth Andersson, Martin Dahlin and Thomas Brolin. They drew 2-2 with Cameroon, beat Russia 3-1, and then drew 1-1 with future champions Brazil after taking the lead through Anderson. In the round of 16, they ended Saudi Arabia's fairy tale with a 3-1 win. Then, in the quarterfinals, they faced the best Romania team in history, led by Gheorghe Hagi and Florin Raducioiu. After a dramatic 2-2 draw in extra time, Sweden won on penalties. In the semi-finals, Brazil appeared again. Sweden defended deep and almost survived, but Romario scored in the 80th minute to make it 1-0. Still, Sweden finished the tournament with one last statement, destroying Bulgaria 4-0 in the 3rd place match and reaching the World Cup podium for the first time since 1958. After missing out on France 1998, Sweden returned to the World Cup in 2002 with a new generation led by a young Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who was just beginning his international journey. Sweden drew 1-1 with England in their opener before beating Nigeria 2-1, leaving Argentina in a must-win situation in the final group match. Argentina, managed by Marcelo Bielsa and considered one of the favourites to win the tournament, were knocked out after a tense 1-1 draw against Sweden on 12th of June 2002. But in the round of 16, Sweden were eliminated 2-1 after extra time by the surprise package of the tournament, Senegal. Despite the defeat, there was a strong feeling that Sweden were capable of going even further. 4 years later, at the 2006 World Cup in Germany, Sweden arrived with bigger expectations, and with Ibrahimovic already established as the face of Swedish football. However, the tournament started badly with a disappointing 0-0 draw against debutants Trinidad and Tobago. The pressure increased against Paraguay, but Fredrik Ljungberg scored a dramatic late winner in the 89th minute to give Sweden a crucial 1-0 victory. Sweden then drew 2-2 with England in an entertaining final group game to secure qualification for the knockout stages. However, finishing second in the group meant Sweden had to face host Germany in the round of 16. The match was effectively over within 12 minutes after a quick double from Lukas Podolski gave Germany a 2-0 lead. Sweden were eliminated once again in the round of 16, just like in 2002. Ibrahimovic also endured a disappointing tournament, finishing without scoring a single goal. Sweden suffered one of their biggest heartbreaks before the 2014 World Cup, despite it arguably being the best period of Zlatan Ibrahimovic's international career. In the playoff against Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo scored the only goal in a 1-0 win in Lisbon. But the second leg in Solna became an unforgettable battle between two superstars. Cristiano scored a hat-trick for Portugal, while Zlatan responded with a brilliant brace for Sweden in one of the best performances of his career. Despite Ibrahimovic's incredible display, Portugal won 3-2 and qualified for the 2014 World Cup. Still, nobody could criticise Zlatan after such a world-class performance, so Sweden had to wait until Russia 2018 to return to the World Cup, ending a 12-year absence. And surprisingly, they did it without Zlatan. Sweden opened the tournament with a 1-0 win over South Korea before nearly beating Germany in the second match after taking the lead. However, the Germans completed a dramatic 2-1 comeback, leaving qualification to be decided in the final game. Against Mexico, Sweden delivered one of their best performances in years, winning 3-0 and finishing top of the group. In the round of 16, Sweden defeated Switzerland 1-0 to reach the quarter-finals for the first time since 1994. But their impressive run finally ended there after a 2-0 defeat against England, closing a fantastic World Cup campaign for the Swedes. When you look at Sweden's World Cup history, one thing becomes very clear. Whenever they qualify for the tournament, they always become a problem for the rest of the world. And despite how difficult and chaotic the road was this time, Sweden are back again with a very talented generation of players. Strangely, Sweden's most important goal on the road to the World Cup came from Alexander Isak in a 2-1 win over Slovakia in November 2024. During the Nations League C, not the actual qualifiers. At the time, nobody realised how important that goal would become, because Sweden's real qualifying campaign was a disaster. They finished bottom of their group behind Switzerland, Kosovo and Slovenia, with 2 draws, 4 defeats and 0 wins. Even Anthony Elanga later admitted that some players did not even realise Sweden could still qualify through the Nations League pathway. Ironically, Sweden only had that opportunity because they had also finished bottom of their Nations League B group in 2022 behind Serbia, Norway and Slovenia, which caused their relegation to League C. That drop allowed Sweden to face weaker opponents like Slovakia, Estonia and Azerbaijan in 2024, where they finished top of the group and secured a playoff place. In the playoff semi-final, Sweden comfortably defeated Ukraine 3-1 thanks to a sensational hat-trick from Viktor Gyökeres. Winning that match also gave Sweden the advantage of hosting the playoff final in Stockholm. The final against Poland became complete chaos. Poland was stronger on paper and arguably played better football. Elanga scored a brilliant goal, defender Gustav Lagerbielke added a header from a set piece, and Gyökeres sealed qualification with another stunning late goal. And when you look at the entire story together, this may genuinely be one of the strangest World Cup qualification campaigns ever completed by a national team. What truly has the rest of the World Cup worried about Sweden is the quality of the individuals in this squad, especially Viktor Gyökeres. It is safe to say Gyökeres has fully arrived among football's elite. His momentum is unbelievable. During the first half of the season, he produced 7 goals and assists combined, while in the second half he exploded with 17 goal contributions against major opponents like Inter Milan and Tottenham Hotspur. His brace against Fulham and his assist during that run highlighted how complete he has become. That double also pushed him past 20 goals in all competitions during his debut season for Arsenal, making him the first Arsenal player since Alexis Sanchez in 2014-15 to achieve that in a debut campaign. Gyökeres stands out for his intelligence as a striker, his surgical movement inside the box, and his ability to constantly find dangerous positions. In the Champions League semi-final against Atletico Madrid, he was arguably Arsenal's best player. Although he scored a penalty, the most impressive part of his performance was his hold-up play, movement, intelligence and ability to appear everywhere on the pitch. Thanks to performances like that, Arsenal reached their first Champions League final since 2006 and won the Premier League after 22 years. Mentally, the timing could not be better for Gyökeres heading into the 2026 World Cup. He has also been outstanding with Sweden, scoring 19 goals in 32 senior appearances, including 9 goals in 6 Nations League matches. But Sweden's danger does not stop there. If Alexander Isak fully explodes at this World Cup, Sweden become extremely dangerous. Isak has scored 53 goals across his last 2 full Premier League seasons and possesses elite technical qualities. Excellent first touch, explosive ball carrying, versatile finishing, the ability to shoot and dribble with both feet, strong 1v1 ability, tactical intelligence and outstanding movement between the lines. On the wings, Anthony Elanga brings pure pace in transitions. His role stretching defences wide will be crucial for creating central spaces for Sweden's strikers. He also arrives in strong form after scoring a brace against Barcelona. Defensively, Victor Lindelöf remains Sweden's untouchable captain, bringing leadership, composure and clean ball progression from the back for Aston Villa. Alongside him, Isak Hien of Atalanta provides aggression, physicality and anticipation against powerful forwards. Meanwhile, Daniel Svensson offers enormous tactical flexibility flexibility. Although naturally a left-back, he can also play in midfield, or as a wing-back due to his physicality and technical quality. His versatility becomes even more important after the injury absence of Dejan Kulusevski, who was ruled out following complications after knee surgery. Because of Kulusevski's absence, much of the creative responsibility now falls on Lucas Bergvall, the 20-year-old Tottenham Hotspur. Midfielder considered one of Sweden's brightest talents. Alongside him, Mattias Svanberg will provide support and balance in midfield, and keep a very close eye on Benjamin Nygren as well. He had a brilliant Europa League campaign, with Celtic scoring 4 goals, including strikes against strong sides like Stuttgart and Feyenoord. And honestly, mate, he arrives absolutely on fire. In the Scottish Premiership, Nygren finished the season with 9 consecutive goal contributions and practically could not stop scoring for the champions of Scotland. And when you look at this entire spine together, it becomes clear why Sweden are generating real expectations ahead of the 2026 World Cup.